the indigenous humans and aliens that were colonists that used the Earth as an outpost coexisted out in open, and there was no secrecy or hidden agenda or anything at that time. And that's when all the pyramids and everything were created. They were not created by the Egyptians. They were created by other races that came here and had left before the 5 human colonies were put here. The Anunnaki interfered, and they screwed up the human genome, and the humans were supposed to be a multidimensional, multi-coalescent being that was able to access higher realms and higher vibrations and stuff, specifically because of where they're located, which is a critical point. This Earth is in a critical strategic navigational point in this universe, where several converging dimensions occur, but also it's in this life vein that runs from Cassiopeia all the way through Auriga and Canis Major, which right. You got
can you wrap up your answer? Yeah, wrap up your answer. Okay,
yeah.
Then we'll go to the next person. Okay,
and the Anunnaki came, screwed up the human race, and that's what caused the wars to start.
How they turn off this timer? Shut up, timer. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much, Susan. That was funny. I couldn't get it to turn off. Okay, next respondent is Theresa. Hold on one second while I get this mic thing manipulated. Okay, Theresa, your turn to answer the question about how long have ETs been involved on the planet, and try to keep it around 3 minutes so we have a chance to get around with several questions. Okay, take it away. Are you there, Theresa?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. Can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay,
yes.
Regarding the story that we're promulgating tonight,
you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
I'm trying not to.
Hear you.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving.
Okay. Go ahead, try again. Okay. We're having some sound problems. We'll come back to Theresa. Are you there, Theresa? Try one more time. Okay, we'll come back to Theresa. Okay, we'll give Bruce an opportunity to answer that.
Okay, thank you.
Bruce, you're live.
Yes, in response to Robert wanting to know or wanting to say how long he thinks the ETs have been involved with humans, he also asked how long, Richard, how long the ETs have been on Earth. And those are two different questions with two very different answers. I agree with him that interaction with humans probably goes back to at least 50,000 years. But in the Wallkill River Valley, I discovered something that was quite outrageous. In my geology work, I discovered that the original Cydonia complex on Mars was constructed in the Wallkill River Valley during the last interglacial, Eemian interglacial, over 118,000 years ago. And I was able to locate remnants after the glaciers retreated of the face, the tholus, the crater, the base to the D&M pyramid, and all of those features, and was able to age date the Cydonia complex on Mars based on continental drift on Earth, which was indicated that it was either built, the one on Mars was built either 50,000 years ago or 59,000 years ago, or it was built 118,000 years ago. Take your pick at this particular time, because the rate of continental drift could be 1 or 2 centimeters per year. And the second part of the question, how long has ET been on Earth? I did a 24 square mile magnetic survey of the area, and I discovered that there were underground magnetic activity, artificial activity going on. But the most extraordinary thing was I discovered an alien probe that had landed on an ancient island in an Ordovician sea over 400 million years ago. How do I know? Because it is completely embedded within Ordovician black shale, ocean shale, sitting on top of a granitic island. And it's now been, erosion has brought it to within 9 feet of the surface, and it is still functional and still sending signals out into space whenever the constellation Bootes is overhead. And these are very powerful signals that come out of it that I was able to measure with my magnetometer. And I was also able to determine that it is triangular in shape, about 565 feet on a side. And that is a huge structure, alien probe. And I found other ones sending signals out into space as well, indicating that this was a mining area for these extraterrestrials over 400 million years ago. And the granitic masses, that islands that they landed on, are full of exotic minerals and rare earths. And a mine in Franklin, New Jersey. Franklin, New Jersey has produced hundreds of different types of minerals from these granitic masses. So it was a mining probe.
Thank you. We'll get back. Let's see, who's next? We're going to try Theresa again. Thank you very much, Bruce.
Okay.
Actually, I'll take a turn. From my understanding and the research, the story of the Earth goes back, and there's been life and species visiting here since its inception, which was X amount of billions of years ago, because people different species indeed, come here to terraform the Earth, and they periodically do what's called interventionism. So they introduce other, species and plants and bugs and everything to experiment. How the hell will this grow and develop here? So the larger life forms apparently came here billions of years ago. I forget the name of the researcher. Dr. Cuomo, it's starting with this C. I've seen his presentation where he goes down through the layers of a mountain, and the lowest layer, which is built up or something, he comes in from the side, and he's found these giants. They're like 30, 40 feet tall, and occasionally you see these pictures of them getting washed up to shore or digs of them, and then, of course, people say it's all fake news. So we have the stories of these things, and I'm going to have Roger Spur of Paso University on the 20th on the show. He's going to talk about how everything is alive, and he's been doing the analysis, and there's these stories of these mountains that are actually a giant laid down, and he became fossilized, turned into rock, and some of them died, some of them turned into statues, like Medusa. We have stories of Medusa. So he's going to talk about that. But what I'm aware of is the Anunnaki. That's my area of expertise, and my doctor, my beautiful doctor husband, Dr. Lessin, has, with myself, we've written 5 books instead of 6. One in the making is about religion and the Anunnaki. But they came here 450,000 years ago, and they were searching for gold to use back on their home planet. The main purpose of it was to coat the atmosphere because it was disintegrating and had holes in it, and the radiation was getting in and rendering everybody sterile and destroying the planet. And, of course, they synthesized it into a lot of atomic gold, and they used it for longevity. And then I think it was about 300,000 years ago, I don't have the book here, they created the first generation of Homo sapiens. They used the Homo erectus. They combined DNA, and they created this hybrid species. And then they did, fine-tuning where they interbred with the existing Homo sapiens and made Homo sapiens sapiens. So that's my, of course, that brings us to the modern era, and the extraterrestrials, the ETs are here in mass and different species, but the Anunnaki never left. They just are still ruling through their priests and kings and the demigods, which are the hybrid humans with a lot of royal DNA, and they're very selective in their kind of the ultimate races. And then we are all the children, so apparently we all have Anunnaki DNA. But back with the Lyran Wars and the treaty that was made, they agreed to combine all the DNA. So we have a reptilian stem, so we're part reptilian as well. Okay, so let me bring on Theresa. Let's give her a whirl here. And then we're going to go Susan, so you can start thinking about it. You're next with a question. Okay, Theresa,
Okay, I heard
about
I'm
3
muted.
minutes.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I unmuted you. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Regarding the word extraterrestrial, that has to be defined in ontology, but consider that I am considered ET. I also would suggest that the universe adds itself to before space and time, so we can't use linear time. So therefore, it's non-existent into the way that I would use folklore. But most of the ancient stories we tell ourselves for the sake of being humanoids, Homo sapiens sapiens, is based on the word. So where I come from, it's based on universal language, which was before anything to do with sound or vibrations or bandwidth or any type of description, because we didn't use words, okay? So it's very hard to communicate unless you don't communicate. So that's why I'm here to help with the word and observe and help communicate. That's part of my chosen extraterrestrial mission here. So regarding let's write the stories that write and thread the stories on the planet is I bring in all the universal codes before we had the photon memory in the what they call the grid. So I presently am working with a lot of theorists because science was taken from original philosophy. And right now they go back to Aristotle on the planet and create forward. However, as far as archaeologists, anthropologists, people that talk languages of the earth being extraterrestrial, I'm working with all those that understand that before humans existed, we had all biological. So to me, Earth is an extraterrestrial, and Earth is made up of former biologicals. But because they only on this reality, in this dimension, they only use carbon-based, what they call time in space. So unless it's carbon, you can't date it. So the Earth is ET, and I'm ET, and everybody is ET. So it's all ET to me, so that's my reality. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Susan, wait a second. What question? Hold on. There we go. What question do you have for everybody? And you're going to start by answering it yourself. You're going to ask it and answer it yourself. Are you there, Susan?
I'm here. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I'm wondering how many of you think that the heaven and hell in the Bible, as described in the Bible, are not really places like heaven and hell, but in actuality, and also Nibiru, and also the scrubbing of the atmosphere using gold by the Anunnaki, all of that. Okay. How many of you think that, oh, well, they're just mining, the Anunnaki were just mining gold to restore their atmosphere? Or do you think maybe perhaps they were using the gold to actually, as baffles, as scrubbers, to clean an atmosphere and restore the ionic balance within that atmosphere that's in an enclosed ship called a surrogate planet-class ship? Okay.
So put that in a question. If you can put it in a one-sentence question.
Yeah.
Rephrase. Okay. Rephrase that.
Okay. How many of you think that the Anunnaki were just here just to mine the gold to restore the atmosphere on their planet? And how many think that, well, is it not really a planet, but maybe a surrogate planet-class ship?
Okay.
And then my answer. Yeah.
Go ahead.
that the